Hello and welcome, Smite fans, to the Challenger Circuit Relegations. Today we're going to be in Europe, and already we're going to be having Five Snakes, one of the teams coming out of the Combine, going up against To Be Continued, which a lot of you would probably recognize under the name Sanguine. Of course, with the org leaving Smite, they chose a new name here. My name is Gormizer, and joining me on the desk for this set is going to be Freight Train. How are you doing, dude?
Oh, I'm on the desk. I'm getting that coffee in, man. I am ready to rock and roll. I'm excited to see what this team of Five Snakes can bring to the table from the Combine. They got a couple of names that you will recognize once we get into there, so we'll see how they do.
Yeah, and already, I mean, we're pretty much going to be seeing typical bands come out. Fafnir, Kernanos already taken off the board. And with this being Europe, I mean, I'm kind of expecting to see some interesting plays. I mean, on the one side, we have seen kind of Half Devil, Doffel, Worcester, like this team for To Be Continued. Joshi is the main one who has been the carry, and of course, banning out the Kernanos. He's been kind of favoring, I think, the ROM lately, kind of going towards that like really hard carry. I'm going to make sure I can put the team on my back and take it through there. Wouldn't be surprised to see that one come out, but Ganesh, Raven, the last two bands to come out, and again, nothing really out of the ordinary.
Nah, pretty standard stuff. The Robin, obviously, you don't really ever know where he's going to be, and he can just be a monster throughout, as we do have the Locket of Susano. Hey, Gormizer, we casted some Friday Night Smite yesterday, and we did our little community tournament, and Susano rained havoc among people.
Susano just demolished people, and it was one of those things that I guess it had been a while since I'd really seen him played. It hadn't been a long time since I've really seen him work with anything. And then it comes through, and like the first game, he was 9-1. The second one, I think he was 7-0. And while it was on someone who was a very aggressive player over here for Five Snakes, that's looking to be in their favor. On the other side, they did get the ROM and the Soul, something To Be Continued, kind of hover around. That's something that they've been picking the last few times. And last week, actually, with the roster swaps that kind of went through, they were looking a lot stronger. So this honestly isn't a bad pickup for them.
No, I mean, To Be Continued with the double, in a sense, Hunters, auto attack heavy, tower damage, objective clearing, God selections. This is what they've gone. They're able to go ahead and take down these objectives like the Gold Fury, Towers, and Fire Giants relatively easily just with those two characters because of their in-hand damage. So they don't necessarily need a big, crazy, bursty mage, and Soul can still provide that if they built mage.
So Bologna was not only open, but made it all the way to the last pick here for everyone. Like, I mean, Terra, Huyi, Susano, all very strong picks as well, but Bologna usually gets favored a little bit heavily over that. Being said, though, going to get grabbed here for To Be Continued. Going to be interesting to see how they're going to handle that, immediately taking out the Osiris and the Wukong, not wanting to deal with any of those matchups.
Well, Wukong, new passive with the built-in shifters almost in a sense and everything. I mean, he's got a little bit more potential, especially in that laning phase. And Wukong is just kind of annoying to deal with. So you don't want to obviously have to, worry about him with the Tiger Stuns. Osiris, look, you got to get rid of the man. He's literally called the Broken God for a reason.
Yeah, and honestly, probably the one person I think right now who would be able to kind of keep up with Bologna, who is just a lane bully when it comes down to it. Nemesis on the other side was taken away, which kind of feels like she goes up there with Susano. You have someone who has super high mobility like Susano, the teleport, the dashes. Nemesis able to kind of go pace for pace with that, kind of keep up with his rotations, taking that one away, and also allows them to kind of have a little bit more tankiness on their side. The Terra and the Tier not going to be affected by that protection shred. Poseidon going to be their mid lane pickup, which honestly, I feel like I haven't seen a Poseidon in a long time.
I haven't seen a Poseidon in a long time either, Gore. And honestly, I'm thinking, why are we seeing a Poseidon versus a Geb? This isn't like Mike the Magikarp jungle Geb. Yeah. This is a support Geb. This is a legit Geb. Like, Geb shields plus Aegises and Sanctuaries are going to really make this Poseidon relatively ineffective toward that late game, especially once that shield gets leveled up.
Yeah, it's one of those few things that Geb, especially like you had said, being in the main support role here, is going to be rotating over to that mid lane. So it's going to be interesting to see how they want to deal with that. Maybe they're going to try to bait that one out. But I mean, with that, we're just going to have to see as we switch over into the game what they're going to be able to do with it. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if their idea is, okay, let's just have Rebound on the Susano, burst them as much as he possibly can, get that shield forced out, then come in with the Kraken.
Well, we're seeing right now that the relic selections are kind of to deal with Confrey in this Kraken/Whirlpool combination. We have two Braces of Undoings. That should help out with that anti-burst. Let's get some of that health back. So when they do see that Kraken coming, they should be able to at least get some of their health back. I like the selections. They're not going to obviously be grabbing the Aegises by any sort of imagination. The Thor is going to be dunking in and so on and so forth. The only person I am a little bit worried about is the Soul, but at the same time, Soul has built-in Aegis with the 3.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Ferricrick works on this. I mean, last night, again, another thing that we saw during the tournament was Soul being picked up, not necessarily being played or utilized, I feel, as well as it could, being bullied, I think, by Susano at one point, but Rebound taking a lot of poke early on already, just kind of walking forward. I don't know what the play. I think he was maybe trying to make the rotation over either for the speed buff or the mid camps, but just kind of stood there and let Worst Turtle snack him.
Yeah, that was a little awkward. I mean, obviously, Booma's mask is a very strong item. Going to be able to heal up relatively easily. Shouldn't have too many issues. Comfrey does also have that Booma's mask. So, you know, really, this isn't too big of a deal. I think they kind of just wanted to play aggressive because of that nature. On the other side of town, I mean, we do kind of see that the dual lane went for the red buff start on the left-hand side. And, you know, that's given the blue side a little bit of a level advantage as they're about to hit 2 at the same time.
Fire Elementals grabbed up, no problem right there. No big fighting happening just yet. I think both of these teams recognize. I mean, when you look at it, even though they're coming out of the Combine, Five Snakes has a lot of really big names on it, and I know that To Be Continued recognize that. Since they're fighting for their spot, they don't want to put themselves in a bad position. Speaking of bad position, there's Ferricrick kind of getting caught out, but Disapparate, being the immunity that it is, not going to be too worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting on, you know, To Be Continued. They've got a couple, you know, swaps going around with the roster and so on. You know, Ferricrick's down here in mid. You know, Worst Turtle is jungling. We'll see how it all ends up panning out. You know, these guys, I still believe in Half Devil and Joshi. I think they're a really good dual lane as far as even in general being support / AD carries. I think they're really good players in general. And they definitely got a bright future ahead of them, I think. Just they gotta put it all together with a good, solid team.
And the thing that's kind of catching my eye, that's, I want to say, just kind of showing that Five Snakes here isn't necessarily a bad team and you can't count them out, is even though Sanjo is behind, I mean, he's fighting a Bologna, so of course he's going to start falling behind. He's keeping up toe for toe, and right now he's getting a little bit bullied, but he's a tier. He's not too worried. He has a heal in his kit. Should be able to kind of get that right back up. And of course, I think we were talking about it yesterday. Multi-potions are going to be the best thing that you can have going over here for him.
But yeah, he's out of them right now, so he's got to watch out a little bit and use that heal better.
And he doesn't have a blue buff. He's going to be able to heal up there, but at this point, I mean, Doffel should take the advantage of every single trade just because there's no real fight for Sanjo.
Well, I mean, looking at the net worth, he might actually be a little bit down in levels, but he's even in gold, so it's not too big of a deal. But Comfrey making his way on the left-hand side. He's level 5. There are no sanctuaries on the side of this Rama. There's beads, so I mean, the potential gank was there, but I believe it was called out as Comfrey makes his way back to mid.
So the two things about that one that are pretty much everything that you just said. There's the bead, so Whirlpool, that allows Joshi to roll, and there's a Geb Shield. Comfrey can make a rotation as much as he wants. Honestly, I don't see that duo lane getting affected by him too much. I think, honestly, a rotation over here to the solo lane would be a little bit smarter, but it seems like the team doesn't want to really focus over there. Worst Turtle going to come crashing down. Kraken going to be thrown out onto him, though, and the Whirlpool doing as much as it can, but the Bracer doing a little bit more. Rebound going to be the one who falls right there. Worst Turtle going to get traded out, though. Damage over time. The teleport thrown out right before he died. That's plan B.
Yeah, you know what? Bracer Von Doing did exactly what it was meant to do. Obviously, the Whirlpool, he couldn't necessarily travel, but he did enough damage. And his team got first blood, so he sacrificed himself at the end. You know, he does give a kill to his counter jungler, but he got an assist. You know, his teammate Bologna gets the first blood, which he'll be able to play a little bit more aggressive, has the full attack speed boots. You know, I don't necessarily, you know, dislike that. Overall, it was, you know, a tough corridor to fight in, and to get the first blood out of it still is a victory.
And being able to grab it that early. Again, Susano is one of the ones that I think is going to be a little bit stronger. In the dual lane, the Suns are dropped by Ethics. Going to clear the lane. Both of the ADCs both kind of looked around like, well, that just happened. And they're just going to kind of play it off.
Hui is one of those characters that you just use the ultimate wave clear sometimes. I mean, it is just one of those things that if you have ultimate, especially if the hunter is kind of standing in the middle of it, I don't know if he was trying to like catch Joshi off guard, but you just got to throw the ult in there, you mark them, and then you go for the stun combo because they're slowed, and you know they take a lot more damage than expected because they don't think you're going to use the ult just to clear the wave, but it's so effective to do so. Kind of like Hercules Boulder in solo.
So right now we're sitting about almost at the 5-minute mark as we're kind of approaching there. And there's not much of a lead. Honestly, first blood gold really being the only difference between these two. The same thing kind of goes for the experience. And with Rebound kind of getting the return kill right there, it was really good for them. Right now, I'm looking as Five Snakes are looking to get very, very aggressive down onto Half Devil at least. The Kraken came out. Ferricrick going to get taken down. Half Devil going to do his best to heal up using his own Bracer Undoing. They should be able to get out with that rollout, but the red buff and Ferricrick both going to fall to Five Snakes, taking their lead and taking a little bit of an advantage there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the danger about not getting the Sanctuary early on versus the Poseidon. I mean, they'll obviously get it at level 12, but you need to see this Poseidon at least doing what he's doing. 2 assists, doesn't necessarily have the kills, but both engagements have led to his jungler rebound and getting a few of those. So he should be on pace to go ahead and carry this game. Comfrey, on the other hand, just has to keep on putting the pressure on and using these Krakens effectively.
So we have, over the last couple weeks, seen Bracer of Undoing swapped out with Belt of Frenzy back and forth for these supports. Both the supports in this game decide to go the route of getting that Bracer of Undoing. Do you think that's going to be more beneficial? I mean, especially for the person, but how about for the team?
You know, for the team as the ultimate on the left-hand side, it looks like FX was trying to, he almost got soloed there by Josh. He had to back up. But as far as the Bracer goes on the supports, you know, Frenzy is obviously the team relic. It's going to help with objective secure and so on. But, you know, the Bracer gives these supports some survivability. And supports have always been notoriously, you know, level 15 at 20 minutes in the game or 25 minutes when everyone else is getting to be 20. And it's hard to be a support, man, especially with all the nerfs to, like, the support items. Bracer at least helps them get back into the fight and stay alive with some cooldowns and health back.
And ordinarily, I mean, I'd say the ones that we see get farmed a little bit early on is usually the supports, because they're the ones who have to go into the front, even when they're not that tanky. I mean, like you said, like they take a little bit longer to get their items online. And all right, now, I mean, David Arnez, Half Devil, they've been the front line for their team. We haven't seen Sancho and Doppel really make any rotations come over to like a big fight yet. So, I mean, at least them, you know, not getting farmed at this point, and having that health come back to them is going to be big. And the sustain looking good on everything. And of course, with sustain comes anti-heal. No one's really looking into that yet.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't realize, and I've been trying to preach this when I do casts, is that Bracer of Undoing's heal can get, you know, countered by, as you mentioned, anti-healing. Whether it's Ankh, whether it's a Pestilence, or anything along those lines, it can obviously get stopped, and you can lower the heal. Joshua, though, on the left-hand side, going to roll forward, but Epic's a little bit too quick on the jump. Won't get caught by that attempted gank as Half Devil will end up rotating back over. He's going to walk over a couple wards, though. I love these ward placements by the boys of Five Snakes. 2 sentry wards, top side and bottom side of the Harpies.
And just being able to keep that rotation that way. And honestly, even if they lose the Oracle Harpies, they at least can spot out the rotations as they go through either the mid camps or over here to the duo lane. And that's keeping, you know, FX here in a relatively strong position. It looks like Rebound trying to figure out what he wants to do with his next game, going to go into the jungle, looking for some aggression. Overall, though, it seems like 2B Continued's game is trying to get to late game, whereas Five Snakes are looking to control the jungle. And so far, I think they've gotten the advantage on every single camp.
Yeah, this is really, I mean, it's a standard EU. Let's go ahead and fight over objectives. We might have 1 or 2 kills here or there, but now we've got the 4v4 grouping in the mid lane. The Kraken gets unleashed. Worst Turtle. He's in trouble. Berserker Barrage gets stunned out. He has to hammer away, but the Cataclysm on Half Devil, plus the knockup. David Arnez with the Bracer of Undoing. That's why you buy it, folks.
And there's going to be the Typhoon come crashing down, but not going to connect with anyone. Five Snakes, it looked like they had a plan when they went in there, but ultimately it just seemed to fall apart, using a lot of ultimates to get nothing really coming out of it. They pop a couple of relics there. They get the Oracle Harpies in the long run, but it's
all
like
that
they
for
have the follow-up.
EU fought. They were like, we're going to waste one. We wasted 4 ultimates on the left-hand side. We got 3 ultimates on the right-hand side. Everyone was like, we want oracles. So the intense fight begins. I can only imagine what the Gold Fury fight's going to look like.
And I mean, at this point, it's looking like Five Snakes seemed almost like they got read by 2B Continued at that point, because they dumped everything. They were ready to go for it. But
that was Bracer.
Bracer comes down, and like, I mean, David Arnez was able to live through that entire engagement because of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly why you get the Bracer of Undoing. I mean, you know, people might be wondering, ooh, Bracer's on support, but that literally allows him to survive, and that turns the whole fight around. Now, no one gets any kills out of it. It's kind of a wash, but hey, Oracles are at least taken, you know, as Worst Total had to sit there and get the heck out of there.
So we have come in, we are now a little past the 9-minute mark, and this game, for all intents and purposes, is dead even. There's no gold difference between the two teams, there's no experience difference between the two teams, and it's looking like it's going to be finally split right over here as Worst Turtle going to get caught out against the wall. Sanjo going to be able to pick him up no problem, and the elementals right there. That's going to allow them to take a little bit of a lead, but still, I mean, at this point, both these teams are staying dead even. They're farming very well, and they're just keeping consistent play.
Well, Worst Turtle is slowly falling behind now, level 10. He's got 15 more seconds. This is going to give Rebound an opportunity. He's probably going to end up hitting 12. He'll get a secondary relic. We'll see what he decides to choose, but it should allow him to be a little bit more aggressive. Now, this Whirlpool is doing work in the fashion of crippling, because obviously Worst Turtle couldn't get out of there, and then you had Tyr helping out. I mean, you know, Thor is a character that needs to be able to get in and out with the hammer. If you use it aggressively or you don't connect on the damage and get the kill, you put yourself in a bad situation. That one right there was one of them. He just wasn't able to hammer out because of the Whirlpool and the cripple.
And level 12 is a big thing there for the Thor specifically because he did not opt into those beats. He opted for that bracer early on. So where we see Rebound, you know, he's going to take over. He has options over there. Probably going to go to the bracer because that's what we've seen favored. But without that beads early on, this entire first set of the game just for Worst Turtle is going to be very rough because every single CC is going to hit him fully unless Half Devil's around, and then the shield priority is going to have to be on him because everyone else has that relic to get him out.
You know, we're kind of waiting until level 12. Comfrey, I like to see Poseidon's before the 12 or 13 minute mark really get super aggressive. He made a couple of rotations. He has 3 assists. He wasn't able to get any kills as the Gold Fury is going to get started up now. Again, this in-hand damage from Farah and Joshi doing work, and Rebound has no idea he's doing the left-hand heart piece.
Right now, this Gold Fury, I mean, that was just clean. There was nothing to it. They should have had the audio cues. I mean, Rebound was right there. But I guess he thought that maybe it was the Oracles. Maybe his team should have the timer on that one as well. They were over there fighting, but I have no idea what was going through their head, what the call was going forward. But I mean, he got, you know, those left-hand mid camps, so at least there's that, right?
You know, he got the mid camps, that's for sure. I mean, right now, Eagles rally over the top side on the Portal Demon. They're looking for both the Gold Fury and Portal. They got both objectives on the mat cleanly. Now they're going to look to get the heck out of here as they don't want to really engage in this fight. Terra uses the blessing to sit there and try to speed everyone up, but that was a clean disengage. Both objectives taken very, very clean as Worst Turtle is going to not get Kraken cleanly.
That was just, I mean, Worst Turtle made the right call there. So he went into his ult over there at the Portal Demon, crashed into mid, ran immediately to the tower after clearing the wave. Like, he was just focused on that. As actually we're going to see get caught out right now. Joshi rolling away. The Suns are going to be dropped. The shield is good. He's up in the sky. The snipe's coming down. He's not going to be able to kill anybody, but he got himself out of the damage, and that's going to be the big thing. It's going to be just another set of clean disengages coming out from To Be Continued, not letting Five Snakes play the game they want to. And now they're looking for this tier 1 tower in the mid lane. The knockup going to be good. Sandro going to get stunned out though right there. And ultimately it's looking like To Be Continued are keeping control of the fight.
That was nasty. That blink looked like it could have been disastrous, but that stun by the Thor Worst Turtle with a very nice stun, able to sit there and stop everything and Rebound, making the way around the backside, maybe looking to flank, but he doesn't have anything really up as far as the ultimate goes. Not going to be able to get too much going down as a lot of the ults on both sides are down. Comfrey's Kraken obviously used. The only thing that's really up here is Barrett Crick's ultimate. But, you know, again, I got to just shout out the objective play. You know, this is the old Sanguine roster, which we gave a lot of trash talk to. Like, we said, hey, you know, what are they doing? They weren't able to win games. These guys, like, you know, Joshi stuck around here for a while. They're figuring this out. You know, they're trying to get a roster under their belt. You know, they might be down in the kill department by 1, but they're playing this objective game really well, and that's what I like to see.
And I mean, I'm not surprised to see they're not going to go for the hat trick. They're not going to try and push their luck and try to sneak away a Fire Giant here, which I think is a smart call for them. But we're seeing it even though they're down 2 kills right now. They still have the experience lead, although it's not too much. It's only around 1,000. They have a gold lead that they've kind of been able to kind of accrue. They are farming better. And part of it is going to be, okay, well, they took a gold fury. At that point, the gold lead, not looking like it's that impressive. But the fact that they've been able to do 2 objectives in a row with very minimal impact coming out from Five Snakes is just showing that they're shot calling.
And we're going
they're reading the map well.
Yeah, and we're going off of the history of the old team. You know, that's the only thing that we could ever really go off of is a basis of these predictions and, you know, how a team will perform. And why I'm talking about them doing well. I mean, on a 3-1 game, it's like 1,000 gold. It's like, or a couple hundred. Why are you talking about how well To Be Continues doing? It's because the history of the team has been known to not really perform well in a lot of scenarios. And they're playing well and they're getting better. And you got to be able to point that out on both ends. So, I mean, again, just shout out to these guys for sticking it through and doing a couple roster changes, but eventually, you know, working it together. And you know, they're in relegations for a reason. Obviously, they were bottom 2. So, you know, they got to get it going.
I was a little worried when you started saying that. Actually, Sandro going to get chased down right now. Roman and Victor right down. The stun going to be good. Worst Turtle grabs that one. Right as you started talking praise about To Be Continued, I saw 4 people rotating over towards that blue buff, and I was really worried they were about to try and 4-man split a jungle camp as Half Devil going to get stunned out. Kraken was just used trying to kill the support.
Yeah, use the bracer though.
Bracer, again, they're just showing its worth. That is literally why that relic is so good. As we see, I think Worst Turtle just ulted down into mid lane, trying to get some damage onto Rebound. The team is around. Joshi going to come through, going to get some auto attacks. The Typhoon going to be channeled, going to get the knockup. The snipes, though, are what he's looking for. He's going to miss one completely off the mark, and they're not going to matter because Worst Turtle's going to get that double tap.
Well, Worst Turtle really needed that. Now he's got 2 kills. A great stun, but actually not so great because it misses the ultimate. But Worst Turtle's okay with that. He'll get himself the double kill. It was all planned out. The fall, looking for anything. The skirt should be up in a second. That's a clean kill. All of a sudden, the boys at 2B continue to wrecking havoc.
being able to pick up 4 right there. Sanjo did respawn in the long run, but that was a 4 for none trade, I believe, overall, where they're just able to kind of run through. No Gold Fury and no Portal Demon available, so they're just going to go right back to farming. But you can read into this fight. That was a strong fight from them. They reacted properly to everything that Five Snakes did, and they didn't read them that well. It wasn't like, oh, we're predicting them, we're over here knowing every move that they're going to do, their every thought. But they reacted in time. They were able to kind of take that one and turn it completely on its head.
Well, so, I mean, speaking of turning it on its head, look at it. We got another Bracer, which is going to be, you know, completely anti-burst. This Poseidon is pretty much null and void. You have, again, you have Half Devil. He's got shields. We got 3 Bracer of Undoings. You've got an Aegis with Soul. You've got the Disapparate with Soul as well. I mean, right now, this Poseidon on Comfrey is just going to become less and less effective as the game goes on, unless he just catches everybody that doesn't have their abilities or their relics up. You know, that's going to be the major turnaround, and he's going to need to catch multiple members, like 2 or 3, and like Half Devil has to choose who he's going to save with the shield. These 1- and 2-man Krakens are going to have to stop because he's just not going to get it done that way with the Bracer and the shields.
And I'm going to go ahead and call him out. He's not being that effective as he is because, like you said, not only are they 1, maybe 2-man Krakens, but the last few that I've seen, he's been dropping on the Half Devil of all people. He's dropping it on the tank, the Guardian Bracer, that has the shield, that has the Bracer. He doesn't care about your Kraken. It's just choose a better target. I mean, at this point, even if Freya Crick immunes the damage, that is a stronger target, even if he has that just great opportunity with the relics, with his Disapparate to get away from the damage. It's a better shot than trying to kill Half Devil because Half Devil is just going to heal it all right back up.
Yeah, I mean, and now, again, the Oracle or the Gold Fury is spawned back up. And Farrakrick and Joshi, here we go. In hands available. Kraken is up, though. They got to be careful. Wurstadle's in the air looking for some zoning duty. Gold Fury will get leashed, though, as they look to maybe fight this. Oh!
Andrew going to get stunned out immediately. Whirlpool Kraken going to be coming down, trying to turn this one around. But Half Devil with that Bracer going to be able to knock it up. He is going to fall. Rebound going to get credit for that one. The snipes are coming down from the backline looking for the shot, but it's going to be too far away to be able to get that. The Suns are dropped. Doffel trying to lead the way for his team, but it seems like they are just separated. They don't want to fight anymore. They're going to back away. They lost Half Devil. I think they're going to concede this, although they do, again, they have the steal potential now. They only have the 1 ult, but it's on Bologna of all people. She can get in there, but Doffel running away towards the mid lane. It looks like they might just concede this Gold Fury. Joshy's hanging around, but that's not good for his health.
Well, no lifesteal on the Hui. Yeah, I was going to say, he's got to be careful. There is an opportunity for an Eagles rally just a little bit too late. Not going to be quite in time. That engagement kind of fell to the wayside because Worst Turtle uses his ultimate. He goes into the air. You know, I said that he's going to be looking for zoning, but Rebound was kind of just in a weird position. But because this is Susano and, you know, he uses his beads and everything, he's kind of able to get out of the scenario. Store lands on him, which prematurely causes the engagement as the fall. I don't know what his plan was. Oh, he got pulled out of that bludgeon. Otherwise, that would have been trouble.
And right now, forcing the Aegis already. Rebound and Confrey, both relatively low, going to be forced out of that fight. That should be able to allow them to start up this Portal Demon. Sancho's in the neighborhood. He's a tier. He has his ult. Might be able to jump on in and try to steal this one at the last second if he gets there. But Doffel going to try and keep them engaged as best they can. Ultimately, just try to do the zoning, although he's not keeping them that far away. And I can see Sancho's just waiting patiently, okay, but not going to be able to do anything in time. Didn't react fast enough to that last little tick of Portal Demon health. And they're going to be able to confirm that one, no problem.
Well, everyone's going to back real quickly and walk through this, I'm going to imagine, and kind of get back to it. Looks like actually Josh is going to take the long way back to the lane. So, all right, so they're not going to go back through the Portal Demon, but they at least will get that objective. They kind of needed that. They still maintain their slight lead. That one fight didn't go their way, as I mentioned. You know, just a little bit of miscommunication as far as going in or not. You know, led to a little bit of a mishap, and Half Devil obviously falls, but that's his one death. You know, that's one time you blew everything into the support, and he finally ended up dying because Geb ended up getting a blink as well versus like a secondary relic like a shell. So this is going to obviously give him a little bit more mobility. Blink Cataclysms are one of the most annoying things to deal with him. You want to talk about Blink Ares ultimates. Blink Cataclysm is just even more brutal because if you're not fast in those beads, you're going to get stunned and probably end up dying.
So we are now sitting at just under 20 minutes, 19:30 on the clock. There's 9 kills. All towers are still standing right now, and about 2,000 gold is really separating these teams. It's not even that much. They're sitting more close to 1,500. They are keeping this as close as they possibly can. This is going to be another one of those games that kind of tends to look like it's going towards that late game. Once those respawn timers get really large is going to be when it affects it, and right now Confrey getting affected, not going to be able to get that stun from Worst Turtle though, and that is going to allow him to continue walking away there. But I see where the burst is coming down. To be continued, have a very clear target painted for Five Snakes, and they don't want to deal with this Poseidon or this Susano.
Yeah, I mean, those are the 2 targets to obviously go ahead and grab. Ferric is going to take a lot of damage, but give it back in return as rebound. There's the Blink Cataclysm. Rebound ended up avoiding it just narrowly, and the Purification, or actually the Sanctuary, is good. Asanjo ends up using the Blink and ends up trying to Fearless. Won't get too much damage on Ferric, and he'll be able to heal that back up with this one. You know, again, this is the power of Soul, able to get that sustain. You're seeing less and less of these real, like, true heal compositions and more characters that have a lot of self-sustain.
Right there, they're going to get knocked down a little bit. The shield going to be worth its money all on the board right there. And Half Devil actually made, I think, the better play in that last engagement. He forced out the Kraken. He blinks forward. He does the Cataclysm. Kraken comes crashing down. He just walks it off because he doesn't care. He's Geb. And now, at this point, if To Be Continued want to get aggressive, they at least know they have that down for a little bit longer. But it looks like the team not wanting to get too aggressive because they're recognizing, again, the fight back so far from Five Snakes has been really good. Back and forth, I actually believe both team fights that each team has really lost.
That potential.
They engaged, dropped too much early on, and then when the actual fight came to be there, the other team who didn't drop all of their ultimates was just waiting and laying in wait, patiently able to throw that one out. And honestly, I'm looking at rebound. Susano's doing a lot. He's still a little bit ahead of the Thor, although not so much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the stat lines are amazingly. I mean, this is close game. I mean, 3-2-1. Both junglers have the same pretty much build going on. The only difference is the Jotuns versus the Brawlers beat stick, and I love the Brawlers on the Thor. Obviously going to help out a little bit with the anti-healing, and I think that's a great choice. Rebound, though, going to go with a little bit more of that CDR. He's probably going into that Brawlers now with a second heavy mace, and, you know, should be going into some other items. Now, going into the mage differentials, we are going definitely with the Obshard here for Ferric, looking for those in hands, and obviously the Stellar Burst poke as the bait is here for David.
Right now, it looks like the Oracle Harpies are the main target. The stun's going to come out, actually going to be able to take one of those away to come down as a split. But now that you mentioned the slash line, I'm looking at it, there is one number difference between the two mids. Of course, the solo laners are different, but 3-2-1, 0-1-4 versus
so crazy. It's crazy.
0-1-2 on both supports and 0-0-2 on both ADCs. I mean, it's just showing. I mean, with the assist line that you see right there, obviously they're fighting together. They're doing well. A lot of these kills were early on, so it makes sense that it's the jungle and the mid that have a lot of the kills versus assists. But coming into it, it seems like a lot more patience coming out. Worst Turtle is the engager right now for the team, and Rebound going to get a little bit of damage. The stun going to come through. The Kraken going to be coming through, though, and Joshi forced into the sky, trying to stay alive, but once he comes crashing down, he's going to be in a bad position. And speaking of bad position, Worst Turtle, one more hit's all it's going to take, and that hits Half Devil as well with the Typhoon. Effic's going to be able to pick that one up. The Root going to be good. The Whirlpool going to be good as well, and Joshi going to fall down so far at 3 for none. Bologna forced to ult over the wall just to get away as Five Snakes take the advantage and look to take the Gold Fury.
It only takes 1 or 2 bad fights to end up throwing the game, and this is kind of what just ended up happening. Again, another fight just kind of stuck in these corridors by the jungle, and this is just not going the way of To Be Continued right now. These in-between corridor jungle fights. Now, the Bracer, the shields, they're working. They're doing what they have to do, but they're still able to pump this damage in right now. I mean, again, the Geb is only level 14, has the Gauntlet of Thebes online, has the Pestilence, is relatively tanky, but they're still able to sit there and knock him down. And that's really the key, is making Half Devil use that shield on somebody, still taking down that target like Worst Turtle, and then continuing the engagement. These fights from To Be Continued, they just got to get grouped up more.
The big difference I'm seeing right here in the fights, we have some anti-heal picked up. You know, we have the Pestilence, we have the Brawlers on To Be Continued. Other side, no items. You glance over it, you're like, okay, they have the Ankh. They grab the Ankh for David Arnez there as that second relic. So he has the Bracer to heal him up, but they have the anti-heal.
That's a surprise pickup. You know, we don't see the Ankh very often, but I think this is great when you have this self-healing meta. Ooh, Whirlpool Kraken on the Portal Demon, though. Who got it? Looks like KSI, To Be Continued, will secure the Portal Demon, as that Kraken was just not quite centered. Might have stolen it if it was. Either way, though, To Be Continued will get the Portal Demon objective. They're still a little bit down. I mean, this is anybody's game. Yes, now, To Be Continued has lost 2 bad team fights, but they put themselves in the position early on to allow themselves to lose those fights where they're really not looking at too bad of a deficit at this moment. They've got to go ahead and clean these engagements up. They don't want to get caught out in the jungle anymore. And if they're able to sit there and do that and work together, like this fight right here isn't looking good with 4 or 5 members with Joshi and Worst on the left-hand side.
Especially with Half Devil getting caught out right there. He's going to be able to get the Cataclysm. The Whirlpool's there, but the Sun's got dropped. He's just erased off the board. And I mean, that's just Half Devil was way too ahead.
I'm picking the map going, why are we not grouped right now? I'm saying,
why are you up there?
I'm saying group up right now in VGS. Like, that's all right. So this is the issues that we talked about that I thought To Be Continued seemingly had cleaned up earlier on in the fight, in the game. You know, this is typical of what we saw from Sangre. Just a lot of mispositioning, and it seems like it's still kind of here and there.
And the big thing that I'm seeing from Five Snakes right now is they are just baiting out every single ultimate that's going to cause them trouble. They got the snipes down, so now there's no like, okay, well, late game kill, like someone's getting away on Five Snakes, they're going to snipe them down. Can't do that. Cataclysm's going to be down for a little bit. Next, Worst Turtle, Doffel, if they can bait those out, then they're just going to be sitting pretty in the next team fight because they haven't had to use anything to really pick those up. The Suns were dropped, but that's all that's going on. Is Fire Giant going to be started up by To Be Continued?
Oh, Rebound's just going to be in the soul lane. I was saying, yeah, he sees what's going on.
He's over here. He hears it. He's going to get stunned out, though, right there. Going to try and run away. Typhoon's going to get thrown over towards the Fire Giant, who's going to get picked up by To Be Continued with no problem. FX has rotated in. FX, that dive bomb is going to be the only thing that saves his life right there. With a little help of David Arnez, they should be able to get out of this one. That was another clean objective.
Joshy is swinging. Joshy is swinging for the fences. The rage slash the sword with the crits, able to do enough damage. He's working on that DB. Now this is the fight. Where is Comfrey at? My man split push in the left lane while they're marching down mid as 5. This isn't good. They might trade out tier 2s, but this is a Fire Giant squad.
A Fire Giant 5-man group up right here, even especially with Worst Turtle backing, that's going to spell the difference right there. We're going to have a wave push into that
Don't
tier
even
2,
get the tier 2.
Fallen already in the mid lane, and they could potentially push and fight for this Phoenix, although it looks like the team is going to do just a little bit. They're going to go back. I mean, there's still, we saw this yesterday. We saw 2 Phoenixes fall in the right and mid, and there were still 2 towers sitting over there in the left-hand lane, not wanting to make that kind of mistake in that kind of map. We're going to see To Be Continued rotate over there. Looking for the Oracle Harpy, should be able to push down this tier 1 tower, no problem. And then force a fight. And with the Fire Giant on their side, ultimately, they should have control.
Yeah, they put themselves in a very good spot. To Be Continued. They've tied this game up realistically in gold. And for all intents and purposes, this game has been tied throughout, really. I mean, Fire Giant is now going to uneven that tie and give them a little bit of an advantage. If you are somehow new to Smite and you're joining the channel, welcome. But you know, the towers, obviously the reason why we're saying don't go for those Phoenixes is that the towers do give the Titan health. A lot of people forget that, especially the newer players. They don't realize that towers and Phoenixes all give the tower health. So you really want to eliminate everything that you can, and obviously with the Fire Giant you get more tower damage. So that's really the goal, is to eliminate every single tower, lower the Titan's health, then you can jump on in. It's kind of the basic Smite 101. Like to kind of throw out the little tidbits for the newer players that they're watching.
And with that, they're going to have just a little bit of extra gold in their pocket. It's not much at this point in the game to get those tier 1s, but clearing out the tier 2s, exposing those, and allowing them to kind of go a little bit deeper with this Fire Giant. They still have about 2 minutes sitting with it on their belts that they can get aggressive. Although it seems like the team's being a little bit more patient with it than I would otherwise kind of guess. Once you said, okay, all 5 of them have Fire Giant and they've been winning these, or at least that last team fight, I'd be thinking, okay, they're going to be pushing down the towers like it's nothing, but recognizing that there's still kind of a lot of engage really on Five Snakes, a lot of ability to kind of turn this one around. They're going to opt to kind of back away and go for the long play. They're going to go for the Gold Fury. They're going to try to burst it down, leashing it a little bit early, but they should be able to get that. And again, no real contest can come out from Five Snakes here. They're just going to be able to burst that down too fast.
This split pushing is not good. To Be Continued gets the Gold Fury. That's great. They're going to put themselves in a lead, but they're grouped up as 5 members. And again, Confrey and Ethics are on the right-hand side, and TP comes in. Like, this is, I have said this so many times before. Why do teams not realize how to play past 25 minutes? Like, this is, I just don't get what's going on. Worst Turtle's going to go in the air. The snipes on top of Rebound aren't going to connect. No, the third one did, but he's not going to end up falling there. Shifter Shield is OP, and then now they will engage on the Phoenix.
And that exactly right there is the reason that we see the Fire Giant being worth so much. That Phoenix fell faster than anything else that could go on. David Arnez is going to go for the roots. They're looking for the damage. They have people rotating around. They have 5 Snakes separated. The Kraken going to come down. Ferrocryk is getting low. Ferrocryk looking to fall down. He's going to be the first fatality of it all, but it's still going to be a 4v5. And the 4 have Fire Giant. They're going to back away, though. They know better than to try and aggress into the Phoenix again. At this point, they only have like 30 seconds left on that Fire Giant. They're just going to wait patiently. Portal Demon, Fire Giant, they should be in a good position. Spend some of that gold.
Yeah, Josh is going to get that. I actually, you know, you just said gold. It's really funny. I just looked at the golden hand tab, and I was like, man, 2,500 for Geb. He's looking to go ahead and finish up an item. He's going to, you know, I don't know. He's going to go Breastplate or Valor here for cooldown reduction, or you know, if he's going to go hide for the, you know, the in-hand damage or what. We'll see what he decides to pick up. But this is going to allow everyone to sit there and get those full items. You know, Thor had over 2K as well. He's got a full Titans and a Jotuns as well. He's got all the maces pretty much other than Crusher. I love Thor's build, you know, coming out of Worst Turtle. And then here we go. We will get the Breastplate of Valor, a little bit of CDR coming out. And Worst Turtle, again, he's a little bit more mobile with the hammer and the ultimate. He'll defend the left-hand side a little bit, but the Fire Maiden should do enough work. Right-hand side, though, tower, that's going to fall. Joshi is swinging.
What I really like is seeing the Eagles rally get thrown out just to kind of give them that little bit of extra protection while they tank the tower here. Should be able to pick this one up. I love the call because Fire Giant's not available. They just took Portal Demon. They just took the Gold Fury. At this point, the only big objective standing for them that was really viable for an attack, that tier 2. Take it, no problem. Now they're in position. They can go in for the Fire Giant. Eagles rally is not on a long enough cooldown that Balloon is really going to be hurting without it. And so at this point, I mean, Doffel in a good position to go forward. They're going to back, use that portal, I think, one more time. No, I think it just despawned. So unfortunately for them, they're going to have to walk back. But I mean, still, 10 seconds, Fire Giant, they should be able to fight.
Yeah, 30-second Eagles rally to let's back up. It's going to be just in time for the Fire Giant. And this thing does give 35 protections. As you said, that's a really, you don't see that used like that, you know? You don't see just, hey, let's Eagles rally the tower and get these protections here so we take a little bit less damage. I mean, it's a really smart use of the ultimate. And again, because it's on such a short cooldown with the current build that he has available, Spirit Robe with the 10% cooldown reduction, that's going to obviously help out. So, you know, why not go ahead and throw it down there? Right now, to be continued, they're down in kills, but, you know, this is, it's kind of funny, you know. Again, we did Friday Night Smite yesterday. This is the second game we've seen the team with more kills currently losing.
Yeah, and not having the better positioning. I mean, all of their towers have been wiped off. We're now sitting about 31 minutes. Second Fire Giant is probably the next big team fight waiting to happen. And the gold lead, everything sitting in favor of to be continued. They've been able to go forward. And right now, the stun's not going to connect. Everything came out, just small abilities, but it looked like it was 1 second away from being the difference in the fight.
Joshi is yelling, wait, wait, wait. I want my red buff. Wait, wait, wait. And he's like, okay. He's like, all right, I'm coming out of the fight. Just don't die yet. Joshi's pleading for his team not to die as he will make his way over. Now we will see the 5v5 engagement. Left-hand side, though, they do have to be careful. They can't play this game forever, while to be continued can wait all day long.
And I like the way that To Be Continued are doing this Fire Giant as well. They get it about half health, and they're just waiting for someone to get aggressive. David Arnaz is going to get caught out, knocked up, stunned, damage, throwing down. But they're going to be able to get Doffel to stop that bludgeon damage from coming through just in time. But Worst Turtle going to come crashing into the backline, trying to fight wherever they can. But they're focusing the main targets, Kraken completely off the mark. And we're seeing a retreat from Five Snakes. But Rebound picks up the big one, and that's going to be Joshi off the board. That is a huge chunk of damage To Be Continued are missing.
Yeah, I mean, Deathbringer Rage combination, Half Devil's half HP as well. Comfrey's a quarter HP. He falls. Half Devil as well. Epix is doing what he can, but Fair quick rebound. Bracer of Undoing will end up saving Rebound's life. Now can Fair end up healing back up? Stellar Burst off the mark. He's going to back up. There's the movement speed about Rebound. He will Aegis that pull. Okay, I respect the Aegis of the pull. Not going to end up wanting to take that damage, but again, they have to still defend the left-hand side. Phoenix, that's going to make Tyr go back. He does have TP available if required. Worst Turtle, though, he's sitting alone.
What I like is the fact that Worst Turtle Faircrick over here, especially with Doffel, they're keeping away Five Snakes from the Fire Giant. The stun not going to connect right there. Worst Turtle going to be able to pick up that one. Actually looking to continue getting aggressive onto FX. They're going to stun it. Five Snakes send people back to defend. They do successfully defend it so far, but that was their prime opportunity off of that fight to try and get that Fire Giant. But like you said, staggered Death Timers, I mean, Comfrey is going to be back, but David Arnaz is off the board for a little bit. Worst Turtle taking a lot of damage from Rebound, and this is why Susano's so good. Epic's going to clean that one up, and now Doffel in the middle of it all going to fight, but that penetration is hurting him a lot more than I think he thought it would.
Yeah, Epix kind of just came around the back. I thought Rebound, I didn't see Epix, honestly. I kind of got tunnel vision myself, even on the map. I wasn't looking at the map itself. I was looking at the game, and I just saw Rebound by him. I was like, what the heck is this man doing? He's got to go into a 2v1, and then I saw Epic. I was like, oh, he kind of made it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, and this is another thing that we kind of mentioned last night. We saw Susano doing really well. So far, not the same slash line going on as actually Epic's going to get caught out trying to fight in the Suns, do whatever he can, going to dive away. Might make it out with his life, although Half Devil's waiting. Joshi with the snipe over the wall. Going to be able to get that. Hits the last one under Rebound. That actually might spell the difference right here. The beads are used. Faircrick trying to go forward. Half Devil trying to find anything. He should be able to get the knock up. The damage not enough. And we're going to see Rebound get out just barely.
Ship their shield and Masume. Now let's point out the Masu man. We don't get that a lot of times. He's got extra protections, but it doesn't matter. Cataclysm on 2 men are good. The knockup Comfrey's in trouble. Whirlpool Kraken gets off, but Joshi ends up getting the shield that he needs. Fair will heal back up with the 1, and it's okay as 2 members did fall. The staggered death timers really going to do an impact number on 5 snakes. To be continued is full strength right now. Might be looking for this Fire Giant.
I'm watching Ferricrick's health bar, and he had to be a little clinch right there. That was a little nerve-wracking seeing how low he get. It was like one tick away.
I clenched a little bit. I always like, dude, I'm telling you, the faces I make while casting are unreal. It's like, oh my God, like, I get really into these close fights, and Worst Turtle is going to do the job that he's required to do, and he's going to go to an air rebound, use his jump, and he's going to get stunned out, and Rebound's dead. Surrender vote has started. I think they know that's the end of the game.
Right now, being able to continue their aggression. Sanjo forced to ult away. David Arnez doing whatever he can to zone for his team. Joshi over here, he's doing the Fire Giant. He's just waiting patiently for his team to come up. The rest of them are zoning, and I mean, at this point, this is as zoned as you can get. You're sitting just outside of your base while the team is doing Fire Giant. Should be able to pick that one up here in just a little bit as it's sitting around 1/4 HP. And then those Phoenixes, not looking so tough anymore, especially with the way these fights have been going. But Comfrey is back.
Hey, you
Kraken
still
should be up in a little bit.
3 Phoenixes are up. The left-hand one is a weekend right here. The ultimate from Comfrey is going to be there in a little bit. Braces of Undoings are all down except for Bologna. You know, if there is an opportunity, you got to bait out the Geb Shield. Blink Cataclysm. Comfrey pre-beads it. That's a smart play. All of a sudden, here we go. Whirlpool is there, but Comfrey got stunned. He couldn't get the Kraken off in time. The Joshi is just working on this Phoenix. Half level falls, but they got the objective.
Yeah, they got what they really wanted to come in here. And that was a full health Phoenix at that point, so that's a really good, honestly, a good kind of trade there, going to trade out. Rebound's still not alive yet, though, and honestly, had he been there, that might have been the difference in that. To be continued, just a little bit sloppy under the Phoenix, and that's the good comp from 5 Snakes, is really good at defending these objectives if they so want, and as it stands, they're looking to possibly try to defend a little bit more. I like the idea of the Worst Turtles over here kind of split pushing because that Phoenix is the one that is half health. You might be able to do anything, but the Gold Fury is the main target. David Arnez all alone up here with Sanjo now, but
Worst Turtle.
I don't know what they're trying to do.
Worst Turtle went up and down. He teleports away. Rebound. The stun is good. The tornado is just short. Oh, he needed a little bit of help, a little bit more range. He still gets the kill because of the movement ability. Man, Worst Turtle, he came down to play. I was like, he got the kill on Comfrey. He trades out at least, man. That was a little intense fight.
Trades it out, gets 65 in the box to wait it out, but his team still with 3 on Fire Giant. Honestly, Ferricrick and Joshi, the ones that I think like that's what you wanted on. And yeah, Comfrey with Kraken still available. Kind of
ulted and probably killed him. Yeah, I don't know.
I like the idea to hold on to it, though, to maybe defend the Phoenixes when it comes through.
But he was dead for 50 seconds. It would have been back. Like,
true.
He was dead for 50 seconds. It would have been like, what's the cooldown on Kraken? Hold on. Let me go over Comfrey. Let me hit my little button. Yeah, well, he's still got 90 seconds. I guess he doesn't have any CDR. Does he have any CDR? I mean, it probably would have been back up in time, realistically. He's got cooldown boots, so yeah, it would have been up. So, I mean, right now, I'm looking at, like, I want to take a look at the player damage. He's got 22k damage right now, Comfrey, so he's doing enough work. He's second on his team with Epics. You kind of expect that at this point with the Oboe kind of doing enough damage. He's got the Gem of Ice. We saw this way back when Poseidon was first picked. Remember, like, oh, we haven't seen a Poseidon in a while. Well, this was the build.
Yeah, and honestly, working really well with him. It's been what set them up for a lot of these kills, but like that last time, he got stunned out before the real combo could come out. That Kraken not getting dropped over there under the Phoenix, not getting dropped when he died. Still being held onto might be useful when the objectives are coming up. I mean, Fire Giant still has 2.5 minutes before it even comes back. They just took Gold Fury. Portal Demon's not really viable at this point because it still has to respawn. I'm not entirely sure the exact timer on that one, but when it comes down to it, we have 4 level 20s on both sides. Level 18, Half Devil over to the level 17, David Arnez over here.
Comfrey gonna get soloed again. He'll get the Kraken off, but it does not matter. Worst Turtle gonna get the solo kill. See you later, Comfrey. Head back to base for another 60 seconds. At least you use the Kraken this time.
And now the Phoenix is going to be the target here. To be continued, looking to try and take this positioning. They have to wait for Worst Turtle to rotate over, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be taking too long. He's going to take a couple of shots. The sun's going to be dropped right now, but the main target is going to be Rebound. And off the board already. Epic's going to be forced to Aegis, getting a lot of damage dumped into him. Dive Bomb going forward. Rally into the
Epic.
Right there, going to be able to pick that one up now. Only 2 tanks stand between them and the Titan. To be continued, looking to push forward, keeping it close. David Arnez walled away. Crits galore coming out. Worst Turtle gets that. That's going to go ahead and be the Titan right there, unless Sanjo can pull out one of the hottest plays ever.
We're going in Fountain, boys. We're going in Fountain. We're diving deep. Sanjo will get the kill on Worst Turtle. All right, buddy. All right, man. Worst Turtle. You played well, but you didn't play that well to go Diamond Phoenix, fountains and stuff, buddy. But to be continued, 15 to 16 in the kills, 40-minute game pretty much. Honestly, I thought it was relatively entertaining. It was slow paced, but you saw some good objective play here and there, some fights turned back and forth. Overall, was a good game.
Yeah, and honestly, you got to see kind of what I expected, this kind of level of play where the teams are reading each other. They recognize we can't really go all in. If we go all in, we're going to lose everything. Focusing more on the objectives, focusing more on their farm, trying to get themselves just a little bit ahead. That small advantage can spell a lot, and I'm going to say the big advantage really for to be continued. That Poseidon, it was a strong pick. It did a lot of damage, but he was 0-5 and 11. He just did not really have the impact his team really wanted.
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue about Poseidon. I kind of mentioned if Poseidon doesn't have 3 kills sub 15 minutes, he's probably going to be more useless late game. Like, Comfrey needs to be 20, or let me not say Comfrey. Again, this is more of about a character thing I'm talking about. Poseidon needs to be ahead for sure in order to be very effective, because that Kraken needs to be on point. It needs to be doing so much damage that Bracer and Shields does not matter. It's going to work. But Comfrey wasn't able to get ahead. The Poseidon didn't really work out in the end, and neither did Sanjo's tier, only about 9,000 damage.
Yeah, not even being able to break the 10K mark at that point. When you look at the other side, it's okay. It's one thing if you say, well, he's a tier, right? Maybe he's just not fighting a lot. But then you look at Bologna, who did 25K, and you're like, all right, I can't make up enough for you. I don't know what's going on. But honestly, we'll just have to see what they decide to do with that. I mean, Sanjo's tier, the Comfrey on Poseidon didn't seem to work out that well, but everything else they had. Yeah, game 2's going to be coming in shortly. We're going to take a short little break as we come back, but it looks like to be continued right now, a little bit more dominant, but with how close that one, we'll have to see how it goes in game 2. So we'll take a short break, and we'll be right back with the next game.